It's uncomfortable. It feels like betrayal. You wonder, am I giving up? Am I failing? But maybe it's just growth. I hate to break it to you, but I've realized something. That yoga sucks.
It sucks to be me. It sucks to be me. It sucks to be broken, unemployed, and turning.
And I don't exactly know when it happened. I don't know exactly why it happened, but something has shifted in me. And this practice that I've dedicated my entire adult life to, just doesn't hold the same place in my heart anymore. And yeah, I know how that sounds. That's probably weird coming from a yoga teacher, maybe even shocking. But in a way, saying it out loud feels kind of freeing, maybe even a little cathartic. I'd imagine it's like finally unlacing your shoes after running a marathon, except without the exhaustion. So here's the thing. I've been a student of yoga for over 20 years. Probably spent more hours in a yoga studio than in my actual home. Yoga studios used to be my sanctuary. They were my comfort zone, my place that I'd go to escape. But lately I found a new escape, a practice that's given me the same spark, the exact same spark actually that yoga once did. And I'll tell you about that in a moment. But first, let's rewind. How did I even end up in yoga in the first place? The truth, it wasn't one of those magical, cosmic, stars aligned kind of moments, those ones that you see in the movies. You know, those times when life just falls into place, like when you're running late for the train and it pulls in the second you step onto the platform, or when you're struggling with a big decision and then randomly a conversation gives you the exact clarity that you needed in that exact moment. Yeah, yoga wasn't like any of that for me. At the time, I was a chef and I was managing a restaurant, and above the restaurant, well, it happened to be a yoga studio. And the yoga teachers and the yoga students were all regulars downstairs, customers, and I became friends with a lot of them. And almost daily, someone would ask me, "So Josh, when are you finally going to try yoga?" But my answer was always the same: probably never. And here's why. 1, I'm an introvert and I don't love group activities. 2, I didn't like stretching. 3, flexibility, yeah, no way. I basically was like a log wrapped in plaster, dipped in concrete. Definitely couldn't touch my toes, let alone do anything with my hips. 4, that spiritual woo-woo incense burning stuff, no way. Plus, I was running a restaurant that's like a 24/7 deal. And in the rare time that I did have time off, I'd much rather be outside. And if I was going to be sitting in a hot, sweaty room for 60 minutes, I'd rather be in a sauna. And meditation, yeah, no way. Honestly, if there had been a TED Talks at the time on the reasons not to do yoga, I could have probably given it. Until one day, someone came in and said, "Hey, don't worry about trying it out. You'll go when you're ready. And if you're not ready, you won't go." And for some reason, that landed differently in me. It felt like a challenge or a dare, but somehow wrapped in reverse psychology. And the next day, for whatever reason, I went. And that decision, it completely changed the direction of my life. So what was it that pulled me in, that hooked me? First, yoga showed me how disconnected I was from my body. And I don't mean like physically weak. I could still ride a bike, snowboard, skateboard. I was active, but standing upright on my own 2 feet, listening to cues, I felt completely lost. And yoga gave me a new language for how I could work with my body and move within it. Second, it was the teachings, not the postures, not the stretching, but the philosophy, the psychology, the bigger questions that yoga asked. That part absolutely captivated me. And I wanted to study more, and I wanted to read more, and I wanted to understand more. And third was the community, and this one surprised me too, because as I mentioned, I'm introverted. I thought yoga would be torture, but it was actually perfect. You're on your mat, alone, but in a room full of people doing the same thing. There's no small talk, and yet the conversations that did come about afterwards, they were meaningful, they were thoughtful, they were with people who truly cared about living well and caring for themselves. So I kept going and I kept going and I practiced and I studied and I traveled the world to learn, to teach, to share. And I dove deep into everything: sequencing, philosophy, chanting, meditation. I became completely obsessed. And yoga became the center of my universe. Until one day, it didn't. So it was about a year ago, and I discovered rock climbing. Bouldering, actually, to be exact.
It was time to climb.
And here's the crazy part. Climbing felt exactly like yoga. It required full attention. If your mind drifts, you fall. It forces you into your body. Every grip, every foothold, everything matters. And it demands breath. Without it, panic sets in. And just like yoga, climbing is a solo practice, but one in which you do in community. And climbers are supportive of each other. They cheer each other on. They celebrate progress. They share insights, failures, breakthroughs. Honestly, rock climbing gave me everything I once found in yoga. Only this time, it was vertical. And it also wasn't my job. And my body responded instantly to it. Years of yoga had set me up for this perfectly. Flexibility, strength, body awareness, all of it transferred so seamlessly. Now, climbing is my escape, and it's my practice, and it's the thing that lights me up. And maybe you felt this too, that shift, that thing you once loved. Maybe it was your career, maybe it was your passion, even your identity. And then one day, it just doesn't fit the same way that it used to. It's uncomfortable, it feels like betrayal. You wonder, am I giving up? Am I failing? But maybe it's just growth. Because the truth is, yoga doesn't really suck. I still love it. I love teaching. I love sequencing. I love studying the yoga tradition. I still geek out over philosophy all the time, but my relationship with it has definitely changed. It doesn't look like it used to. And that's okay, and I'm okay with that. So here's my question for you. Have you ever had that shift? Have you ever outgrown something that you thought would be with you forever? Drop your story in the comments because I'd love to hear it. And if you want to keep exploring yoga with me, even if my relationship with it has changed and looks a little bit different these days, make sure you subscribe. I've got more stories, practices, videos, and teachings, all that I want to share with you. So yeah, yoga sucks, but also yoga is incredible because yoga isn't about staying locked into one posture forever. It's about learning to adapt, to change, to move into the next shape, the transition, just like life. So maybe yoga hasn't left me at all. Maybe it's just transformed.
It sucks to be me. It sucks to be broken, unemployed, and turning 33. It sucks to be me.
Oh, you think your life sucks?
I think so.
Your problems aren't so bad. I'm kind of pretty and pretty damn smart.
You are.
Thanks. I like romantic things like music and art.